Keeping you tech savvy this morning, if you have a smartphone, you've probably run into the problem of storage space. A recent class action lawsuit against Apple claims as much as 23% of the advertised storage space on an 8 gig and 16 gig devices is taken up by the iOS software. So how do you manage and clear out the stuff you don't need? Chief technology expert from Nomadic, Juston Western, is here to tell us. Justin, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so this seems to be a problem that I see just about anyone having every single day, myself included. You know, you get that message, storage filled. Why is this?
Well, when you're updating your iOS software, especially when you're doing an OS update, you really need a lot of staging area space. So the analogy I give is kind of like renovating a kitchen, right? If you're going to bring in your refrigerator, you got to have space for the new one and the old one, and then you bring the old one out. Same sort of thing on a mobile phone. You need space to work, and then once it's done, you've got more space available to you.
And this problem is not just with Apple. You say it's with Android devices as well.
Certainly. So this is not unique to iOS. I mean, if you have an Android phone, you're going to have the same sort of operating system updates that need to occur. You're going to have app updates. You're going to take a lot of photos. So you need some space to breathe, some room to work there.
Okay. So let's talk about the simple ways you say that you can go about clearing space. And you've got 5 for us. We'll start with messages. What should you do about those?
So messages isn't an obvious one. If you send a lot of MMS, like photos and videos back and forth, those eat up space on your phone. And a lot of times you don't think to go in and delete those individual messages, especially if they're just like funny photos that aren't, you know, photos of your kids. You don't need to keep those around. So if you go into there, you can individually delete them to free up some space.
Can you also have a setting that will automatically delete?
You absolutely can. So you can kind of age the data over time. And so if you don't want to keep 5 years of text messages between you and your brother, maybe you'd say after 2 weeks, auto-delete those.
Yeah, I have that problem. Exactly. All right. Now, number 2, you say consider turning off the shared photo streams. What does that mean?
Yeah, so that's unique to iOS. So you can set up family kind of photo pools. And so if you take pictures of your kids and you want to share those with your in-laws, your relatives, you automatically push photos from your device to their devices. So over time, if you're sending a lot of photos, taking 10, 20 at a time, you're eating up space on all of your friends' devices too.
Okay. Number 3, do a spring cleaning of your apps.
Yeah, so, you know, do you really need Angry Birds, Star Wars, and the original one? Probably not. So go in there, look and see what you're actually using on a day-to-day basis and make some tough decisions about what you want to keep and don't keep. You can always re-download them again. There's no price for that after you've already bought it.
Okay, number 4, sign up for a streaming music service.
Yeah, so music can take up a lot of space on your device, and there are a lot of really good streaming options out there today. Spotify is a big one. Beats Music, which Apple bought earlier this year, I guess late last year. All of those things just download the data as you need it, and it deletes it after you're done listening to it, so you don't have to worry about just sitting there on your device.
So it's not using the local storage then. Okay, and then finally you say consider keeping only the last 6 to maybe a year's worth of photos.
Yeah, so this is really, you know, do you really need 18 months or 5 years of photos on your device all the time in your pocket? Maybe not. And so especially if you're taking a lot of video clips, those things just chew through storage like you wouldn't believe. So what I do is kind of a personal best practice. I'll always keep the last 6 months so I can go back and see kind of how my life has progressed, but then I just back up everything else to the cloud and delete it from my local device.
Yes, I just learned, well, I didn't really learn how to do that. My husband did it for me, but I learned the value of that because that's always my issue is I have too many videos and photos. So what kind of device should people buy so that they can make sure they have enough storage?
You know, it's attractive if you go into an Apple store or an AT&T store to get the cheapest one, and that's typically the 16 gigabyte model. Don't buy the 16 gigabyte model. There's just not enough breathing room. Over the course of a year or 2 years, if you're on a biannual upgrade cycle, you will chew through that, and you're going to have to actively manage your data like we were just describing. You can get a 128 gigabyte iPhone today, so that's a lot of breathing room. It's a little pricier, but if you don't want to have to worry about running out of space, do yourself a favor and pop for it.
Yeah, the time might be worth more than the money in that case, right? All right. Justin, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank
Mike.
you.